The Battle of the Bulge was intended to be Hitler's final bet. A devastating surprise aimed at dividing the Allies. Instead, it turned into a graveyard for his elite forces, not due to the sheer number of tanks or troops, but because of a concealed fuse nestled within an ordinary shell, which made artillery 50 times more lethal. German veterans claimed the shells had eyes. Was this the pivotal moment when technology, rather than soldiers, determined the war's outcome? On December 16, 1944, the stillness of the frozen Ardennes forest was shattered as American artillery shells screeched overhead. German soldiers, battle-hardened from years of conflict, braced themselves for the familiar booms of incoming fire tearing through the icy ground. But this day was different. The shells did not impact the earth. Instead, they exploded high above the treetops, illuminating the sky with blinding flashes. In an instant, steel shards fell from the sky, slicing through branches, soil, and flesh with ruthless accuracy. No foxhole could shield them. No tree could provide refuge. Death rained from above for the men of the 326th Volksgrenadier Division as they trudged through the snow toward the small town of Monschau. This was a nightmare beyond belief. They had faced artillery before with its predictable impacts and designated safe zones providing brief respites. But now, the very air had transformed into a weapon. The wailing of incoming shells was followed not by distant explosions, but by blasts directly overhead. Soldiers collapsed in ditches, entire squads vanished in mere moments. The forest echoed with screams and chaos as fire and metal poured down mercilessly upon the American gun lines. One man made a choice that would not only change this battle but redefine warfare itself, Colonel Oscar Alfred Axelson of the 406th Artillery Group. Disregarding standing orders, he commanded his gunners to load shells equipped with the Allies' most closely guarded secret, the proximity fuse. Inside each fuse, no larger than a coffee can, was a miniature radar system designed to detect when to explode. For the first time, artillery could detonate not where it landed, but precisely where it would inflict maximum damage. The outcome was immediate, devastating, and frightening. German soldiers, confident in their training and the safety of their positions, soon realized that the old rules no longer applied. The mathematics of death had been rewritten in the snow-covered forests of the Ardennes, and what began as one unauthorized decision would soon spiral into a tempest of destruction that would characterize Hitler's last gamble. In the waning months of 1944, Adolf Hitler envisioned what he believed to be his final great wager. The Western Front had devolved into a stalemate following the liberation of France. German forces were retreating toward their borders, supplies were dwindling, cities were ablaze, and the enemies of the Third Reich were closing in from both the east and west. Yet in the snow-laden Ardennes, Hitler perceived a final opportunity. He planned an offensive so shocking and decisive that it would cleave the Allied armies in two and compel a negotiated peace. He dubbed it Wacht am Rhein, the Watch on the Rhine. It was a plan wrought from audacity and desperation. Over 200,000 German soldiers were secretly assembled. Along with 1,000 tanks, including the feared Tigers and Panthers, and nearly 2,000 artillery pieces, all shrouded beneath the fog and trees. The objective was to break through the Ardennes, seize Antwerp, and sever the Allies' supply lines. Hitler assured his generals that this strike would turn the tide of war back in Germany's favor. He claimed his enemies were weak, that the Allies had grown complacent, and that the Ardennes front was guarded only by exhausted divisions ill-prepared for combat. In truth, his gamble was not entirely misguided. American intelligence had failed dramatically, failing to detect the massive German buildup. Many units in the Ardennes were inexperienced replacements, barely trained recruits who had never fired their weapons in combat. Others were worn-out veterans sent to this quiet sector for rest and recuperation, who were not anticipating an assault. When the German artillery opened fire at 5 a.m. on December 16th, their barrage thundered across an 85-mile front, unleashing 1,600 rounds per minute on American positions. The element of surprise was complete. Communications collapsed and entire regiments disappeared beneath the sudden onslaught. Yet even as the Wehrmacht surged forward, cracks began to form in their offensive. The American defenders, though taken off guard, did not shatter completely. Scattered units held key crossroads and bridges with stubborn defiance. Amid this chaos, Colonel Oscar Alfred Axelson, leading the 406th Artillery Group, confronted a nightmare. His 38th Cavalry Squadron, a small reconnaissance unit, faced annihilation against overwhelming German forces. Conventional artillery could not halt the assault. Axelson understood that if he adhered to orders and relied solely on standard shells, the line would collapse. In that frozen moment, he made a choice that would unleash America's most secret weapon. The weapon Colonel Axelson activated was not born in the trenches, but in the laboratories and factories of America. It was called the proximity fuse. At first glance, it appeared to be nothing more than an ordinary artillery shell, but concealed within its nose was a secret so tightly guarded that its security rivaled that of the Manhattan Project. Inside that steel casing lay a miniature radar transmitter, no bigger than a coffee can, capable of detecting the distance to its target and detonating at the precise altitude where its fragments would be most lethal. The concept was simple, yet the execution was nearly impossible. A tiny radio system had to withstand the unimaginable violence of being fired from a cannon, experiencing forces 20,000 times that of gravity, enduring temperatures of 3,000 degrees inside the barrel, and battling the bitter cold at the peak of its flight. To solve this, America's brightest minds were enlisted. Dr. Merrill Tuve at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory spearheaded the effort. His team, sequestered in a building masquerading as a used car dealership, worked with a sense of urgency, racing against time. They revolutionized electronics, shrinking vacuum tubes which once filled living rooms to the size of pencil erasers. Glass ampules within each fuse shattered under acceleration, creating a tiny battery that powered the radar. 4 to 5 miniature tubes protected by innovative cushioning emitted continuous signals, listening for reflections off the ground, trees, or human bodies. When the returning signal became strong enough, the fuse understood it was the moment of death and would trigger detonation, showering steel fragments in a lethal cone over everything below. By December 1944, American industry was producing 40,000 proximity fuses daily. More than 100 companies contributed to the effort: RCA, General Electric, Sylvania, and Crossley Corporation. Entire factories abandoned peacetime goods to manufacture this secret. Refrigerators were replaced with weapons, and radios became fuses. The workforce, often composed of young women, worked 12-hour shifts, meticulously testing each of the 130 tiny components with microscopic precision. Every solder joint was inspected, and each part was tested and tracked by serial number. No mistake was permitted. The cost was staggering, over $1 billion wartime dollars, second only to the atomic bomb. Yet the result was a weapon unlike any the world had known. The Germans had once led the race. As early as 1940, their engineers at Rheinmetall Borsig and AEG Berlin had developed working prototypes. However, Hitler, obsessed with short-term victories, had cancelled all projects that required more than 6 months to complete. The program was abandoned, and German scientists deemed the concept too complex, too fragile, and too unrealistic. Now, in the winter of 1944, they would pay a terrible price for that decision. The Americans had cracked the code. They achieved what German engineers believed impossible. They embedded radar within a shell and transformed the very air above the battlefield into a killing field. In the frozen forests of the Ardennes, the old rules of warfare were about to be shattered. Foxholes, trenches, and dense trees, once shields against artillery, became impotent. Soldiers were about to discover that the threat did not arise from the ground below them, but from the silent sky above. Once unleashed, there would be no turning back. The proximity fuse was not just an enhancement in firepower, it marked the dawn of a new era, one where technology, rather than mere numbers, dictated who lived and who perished. At Monschau, the moment arrived swiftly. Colonel Axelson, amidst the thunder of his artillery, issued the order that broke all regulations. Load the new shells. The gunners hesitated, if only for a moment, understanding the risks. If captured, the secret would be revealed. If they failed, Axelson could face court-martial. But the line was faltering. The 38th Cavalry Squadron was on the verge of being overrun, so the order stood. Shells with hidden radar eyes slid into the breaches, the lanyards were pulled, and the guns roared. What followed was unlike anything the Germans had ever encountered. Advancing in tight formations, they suddenly found themselves under fire that had no safe angle or predictable pattern. Shells exploded 30 to 50 feet above them, showering deadly fragments downward in a lethal cone. Foxholes became death traps, and trenches offered no protection. Soldiers who had endured Stalingrad and Kursk now faced a weapon that rendered their experience meaningless. The veterans of the Eastern Front, men who believed they had witnessed everything war could show, were cut down in seconds by explosions that descended from the sky. Reports surged up the chain of command. The German attack stalled, shredded by unseen forces. Survivors spoke of terror shells that seemed to know where they hid, bursts that found them behind trees' walls and even deep in ditches. Confusion spread. Was it a new gas? Was it some sorcery? No explanation made sense. Panic infected the ranks. The carefully planned offensive began to crumble under the weight of fear. At Bastogne, the secret weapon re-emerged. The 101st Airborne, encircled and vastly outnumbered, clung to vital crossroads. Their salvation did not come from numbers, but from artillery armed with proximity fuses. The 463rd Parachute Field Artillery Battalion, firing 7,000 rounds over 2 weeks, transformed the battlefield. German infantry crossing snowy fields were decimated before they could close the distance. After General McAllister's defiant nuts response to surrender demands, the Germans launched wave after wave, each time facing proximity-fused shells detonating overhead, breaking their assaults apart. Further north at Elsenborn Ridge, the impact was even more devastating. There, the 2nd and 99th Infantry Divisions held the high ground against the 6th SS Panzer Army. Over 3 days, 160,000 shells rained down, with only a quarter carrying proximity fuses. Yet these accounted for over half of all German casualties. Entire SS companies were obliterated in blasts that transformed slopes into killing fields. The survivors were forced to climb over the bodies of their comrades, only to be swept away by the next wave of fire. The elite of the Waffen-SS, the pride of Hitler's army, shattered against the relentless steel storm. By December 21st, restrictions were lifted. Eisenhower himself authorized the full deployment of proximity fuses, rushing them to every artillery unit in the Ardennes. Self-propelled howitzers, the M7 priests, unleashed relentless barrages. African-American gunners of the 969th Artillery Battalion, often overlooked in history, carved their names into the annals of warfare with devastating salvos that secured Bastogne's perimeter. Everywhere the weapon appeared, German momentum stalled. The forest, once their shield, became a death trap as shells exploded above the trees, filling the air with shards of metal and splintered wood. For the Wehrmacht, there was no solution. Spreading out left them vulnerable to wide kill zones, while clustering together resulted in annihilation from a single blast. No tactics, no training, no courage could withstand this. In the Ardennes, the Germans faced not just American soldiers, but also American science, American industry, and American resolve, all forged into a single device. The proximity fuse had arrived on the battlefield. Its judgment was final, and its verdict was death from above. On Christmas night 1944, the snow along the Sauer River glowed faintly under a pale moon. German troops, believing they were concealed by darkness and fog, began to cross the frozen waters, moving quietly with weapons drawn, anticipating a surprise attack on the Americans across the bank. But what awaited them was not the familiar rhythm of artillery corrections, nor the warning whistles of shells striking too far or too short. Instead, it was sudden, precise, and merciless. Shells detonated in the air above the river, transforming the crossing into a slaughter. General George S. Patton, leading his Third Army north to relieve Bastogne, witnessed the devastation firsthand. In his memoir, he described the aftermath: 702 German bodies counted after the barrage ended, a battalion erased in minutes, with the river behind them and fire in front, and death descending from above. It was a demonstration so efficient and absolute that it became one of the few precisely documented instances of mass killings by artillery in military history. The proximity fuse had turned the Sauer River into a graveyard. At Bastogne, the narrative was the same. German infantry advanced across open fields after demanding surrender from General McAllister, whose defiant nuts resonated with determination. When the enemy attacked, proximity-fused shells exploded overhead, slicing through entire formations. Snow-covered fields, once alive with marching troops, transformed into landscapes of silence and bodies. The 406th Parachute Field Artillery and the 969th Field Artillery African-American gunners, fighting with relentless precision, laid down a curtain of steel that no soldier could penetrate. The siege held. The crossroads remained in American hands. Further north, the battle for Elsenborn Ridge reached its peak. Here, the Germans deployed their finest troops, the 6th SS Panzer Army and the elite Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler Division. They stormed the steep, forested slopes, determined to break through. American guns responded with thunder. Over 3 days, 160,000 shells fell, with 40,000 carrying proximity fuses, accounting for more than 60% of German casualties. Veterans recalled how entire companies vanished in seconds, survivors climbing the ridges only to stumble over piles of their own dead, subsequently cut down by the next series of airbursts. The SS men, trained to believe in their invincibility, faltered under the barrage of invisible fire raining from the sky. Then came January 1st, 1945, Operation Bodenplatte. 900 German fighters ascended at dawn, striking Allied airfields in a desperate bid to cripple air power. The surprise was complete, with many Allied aircraft burning on the ground. Yet as Luftwaffe pilots returned, American anti-aircraft batteries lay in wait. Their shells, no longer searching blindly, burst in the air with uncanny timing, transforming defense into massacre. Of the 277 German aircraft lost that day, 172 fell to anti-aircraft fire. The Luftwaffe, already suffering, never recovered. It marked the final grand air assault of the Reich, ending in ruin. Across the Ardennes, one truth became irrefutable. The weapon that had seemed impossible had reshaped the battlefield. Patton himself declared, "The funny fuses won the Battle of the Bulge for us." In the frozen forests, the rivers and the ridges in the skies over Europe, the climax had arrived. The German offensive, launched with great ambition, was now drowning in a storm of steel that detonated not where it landed, but where it inflicted the most damage. Hitler's last gamble was unraveling, not only against American bravery but also against American science. When the thunder of guns finally began to subside, the Ardennes lay scarred and silent. The German offensive, once envisioned as a decisive thrust to Antwerp, had bled itself dry against American resistance and technology. The cost was staggering: 100,000 German casualties, 75,000 American, and 19,000 Americans killed. But within these numbers lay another truth. Without the proximity fuse, the butcher's bill would have been far greater. By the campaign's end, more than 200,000 proximity-fused shells had been fired. Studies conducted post-battle revealed that although they constituted only a quarter of the artillery fired, they were responsible for more than 60% of German casualties. One shell exploding 30 feet in the air was equivalent to 10 shells hitting the ground. Artillery, once regarded as a support weapon, had morphed into the decisive arm of battle. The impact was not solely physical, it was psychological. Survivors spoke of shells that seemed to hunt them down, to locate them no matter where they sought refuge. Veterans who had relied on trenches, thick forests, and stone walls suddenly found their defenses stripped away. Young conscripts barely out of school were thrust into a war where the sky itself betrayed them. Panic spread through formations, with units disintegrating before they could reach the American lines. Orders went unheeded, and some soldiers outright refused to advance into areas where the air had become a lethal weapon. Prisoners of war voiced their fears, dubbing it death from above. They spoke of assaults where entire platoons vanished under airbursts, leaving behind only fragments and shattered equipment. Others recounted forest skirmishes where exploding shells transformed branches into deadly spears, amplifying the destruction. No tactic, no bravery, and no training could counteract it. For many German officers, the realization came too late. They were not only fighting American soldiers, but also contending with American science, American industry, and the relentless force of innovation. On the American side, the rapid deployment of the weapon became a tale of logistics. Within days of Eisenhower lifting restrictions, trains and trucks transported proximity shells to every artillery unit in the Ardennes. The 420th Armored Field Artillery Battalion fired over 1,000 rounds on Christmas Day alone. The 969th, an African-American battalion too often overlooked in history, created a ring of fire that rendered Bastogne unassailable. The technology had not merely altered the battlefield, it had reshaped the role of those wielding it. For the first time, artillery was no longer reliant on daylight, observers, or weather conditions. Death could be summoned at any hour and in any circumstance. In January 1945, as the German tide receded and the front stabilized, the Allies took stock. Reports from the field consistently conveyed the same message. Proximity fuses had amplified American power. They had thwarted assaults that might have otherwise succeeded and saved thousands of American lives in the snowbound forests. They had obliterated the last vestiges of German invincibility. What Hitler had promised as his last great triumph ended in Klintz and defeat. The gamble was lost. The Reich was bleeding out, and in the shattered villages of Belgium and the forests where branches still hung broken, survivors recognized that something had changed forever. As the snows of the Ardennes finally melted, the battlefield revealed more than shattered tanks and fallen soldiers. It unveiled the dawn of a new era. The proximity fuse, once shrouded in secrecy, had demonstrated itself not just as a weapon, but as a revolutionary force. Generals across Europe acknowledged its significance. Field Marshal von Rundstedt candidly stated, "The proximity fuse was decisive. Our attacks broke down not solely because of American bravery, but due to artillery that seemed to have eyes." His words echoed the sentiments of General Hasso von Manteuffel, who admitted that the new shells instilled panic even among his most seasoned troops. For the first time, the German army feared not just the soldiers in front of them, but the invisible intelligence contained within a shell. In sheer numbers, the impact was undeniable. 200,000 shells fired during the Battle of the Bulge, with 15,000 to 20,000 German casualties directly attributed to the fuse. Studies indicated that lethality increased 5 to 10-fold over conventional ammunition. A single battery could now halt an entire regiment. A single salvo could obliterate a company. The mathematics of destruction had been rewritten by technology, forever shifting the balance of war. Yet behind the statistics lay deeper ramifications. The factories that produced 22 million fuses during the war became schools for precision techniques. The miniaturization and quality control methods developed for this program carried over into the post-war era. The tiny vacuum tubes that once guided shells would eventually lead to the discovery of Earth's radiation belts. Dr. James Van Allen, who perfected these technologies, later uncovered the principles of those belts using similar methodologies. The logistics networks established to coordinate 100 companies became the foundation for modern supply chains. Even the philosophy of machines making decisions at the moment of impact evolved into guided missiles, cruise weapons, and eventually, every smart bomb on the modern battlefield. The proximity fuse was the progenitor of them all. Moreover, there was a human legacy. In America, thousands of factory workers, many of them women, recalled long shifts spent soldering delicate circuits, never aware of what they were constructing, only that it was vital. In Germany, countless young soldiers, conscripts, students, and boys barely out of adolescence perished in ways they could not comprehend. They died in forests where trees themselves morphed into weapons, in rivers where the air betrayed them, and in open fields where the sky rained steel. Their deaths marked the transition into a new, unforgiving era. The battle itself concluded in late January 1945. Hitler's last gamble had failed, and the Reich would never recover. Yet the echoes of those weeks reverberated onward. Eisenhower himself acknowledged that had Germany possessed the proximity fuse on D-Day, the landings might have failed, potentially delaying or even losing victory in Europe altogether. That was the significance of this invention. Not merely another shell or weapon, but a demarcation between old warfare and new. In the Ardennes, amid the snow and silence, the age of technological warfare was born. The proximity fuse was more than just steel and circuitry. It was evidence that science could influence the trajectory of history. It marked the moment when the battlefield ceased to be governed solely by men and began to be shaped by machines capable of thinking, however simply for themselves. From that winter forward, every soldier who glanced up at the sky understood that the air itself could kill, and the calculations of death would never be the same again. The reverberations of the Battle of the Bulge and the deployment of the proximity fuse extended far beyond the immediate battlefield. The lessons learned and the technologies developed during this pivotal moment would influence military strategies and tactics for decades to come. As the war drew to a close in Europe, the Allies recognized that the technological advancements achieved during the conflict would not only shape the outcome of World War II, but also define the nature of warfare in the future. In the aftermath of the battle, the American military began to integrate the proximity fuse into a broader array of artillery systems, recognizing its potential to enhance firepower across various fronts. The The successful use of proximity fuses in artillery fire was a game changer, leading to further innovations in targeting and accuracy. The ability to detonate shells in mid-air, raining deadly fragments over enemy troops and equipment, created a new paradigm in artillery warfare. As the Allies pushed toward Germany, the lessons learned from the Ardennes were applied with increasing effectiveness. The proximity fuse became a standard component in artillery shells, allowing American forces to maintain a significant advantage over their adversaries. The psychological impact on German troops was profound. The unpredictability of American artillery fire, enhanced by the proximity fuse, created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Soldiers who had once relied on their training and experience found themselves grappling with an enemy that wielded technology in ways they could not anticipate. The war's conclusion ushered in a period of reflection and innovation. Military strategists and engineers took note of the effectiveness of the proximity fuse, prompting a renewed focus on research and development. The principles behind the fuse influenced advancements in guided munitions and precision warfare. The concept of using technology to enhance lethality and minimize collateral damage became a central theme in post-war military doctrine. In the years following World War II, the United States and its allies invested heavily in research aimed at refining and expanding upon the technologies developed during the conflict. The proximity fuse laid the groundwork for the development of more sophisticated guided munitions, setting the stage for the rise of precision-guided weapons in future conflicts. The lessons learned in the Ardennes would be echoed in Korea, Vietnam, and beyond, as military forces sought to leverage technological advancements to gain the upper hand on the battlefield. As the Cold War unfolded, the role of technology in warfare became even more pronounced. The arms race between superpowers was not just about numbers, but also about technological superiority. The innovations born from the experiences of World War II, including the proximity fuse, played a crucial role in shaping the military capabilities of the United States and its allies. In addition to its military implications, the development of the proximity fuse had broader effects on industry and society. The factories that had produced millions of fuses became centers of innovation, contributing to advancements in electronics and manufacturing processes. The techniques developed during the war found applications in civilian industries, leading to improvements in consumer electronics and technology. Moreover, the war effort galvanized a generation of engineers and scientists who would go on to shape the future of technology. The demand for precision manufacturing and miniaturization during the war fostered an environment of innovation that would lead to breakthroughs in various fields, including telecommunications, computing, and aerospace. The legacy of the proximity fuse extended beyond its immediate military application. It became a symbol of how science and technology could alter the course of history. The lessons learned in the Ardennes illustrated the importance of innovation in warfare and the necessity of adapting to new realities on the battlefield. In examining the impact of the proximity fuse, it is essential to recognize the human cost of its effectiveness. While the technology enhanced American firepower and contributed to victory, it also resulted in devastating losses for German forces. The psychological toll on soldiers, compounded by the fear of unseen death raining down from above, contributed to a sense of hopelessness and despair among the German ranks. As the war drew to a close, the world grappled with the implications of the technological advancements achieved during the conflict. The proximity fuse represented not just a military innovation, but also a harbinger of the complexities of modern warfare. The ability to kill from afar using technology to remove the human element from combat raised ethical questions that would resonate for generations. The post-war era witnessed a growing awareness of the need for international cooperation and dialogue to prevent future conflicts. The horrors of World War II, coupled with the destructive potential of emerging technologies, prompted calls for disarmament and arms control. The consequences of advancements like the proximity fuse underscored the importance of finding ways to manage the proliferation of military technology and ensure that it would not be used to devastate civilian populations. As nations reflected on the lessons of the past, the proximity fuse served as a reminder of the delicate balance between technological advancement and ethical responsibility. It prompted discussions about the moral implications of warfare in an age of precision weaponry and the need to prioritize diplomacy and dialogue over violence. In the decades that followed, the legacy of the proximity fuse continued to influence military thought and strategy. The principles of leveraging technology for tactical advantage became deeply ingrained in military doctrine, shaping the conduct of conflicts in the latter half of the 20th century and beyond. Today, as we examine the evolution of warfare and the role of technology, the story of the proximity fuse remains a pivotal chapter in the history of military innovation. It is a testament to the profound impact that scientific advancements can have on the course of human events, and a reminder of the responsibility that comes with wielding such power. In the end, the Battle of the Bulge and the introduction of the proximity fuse marked a turning point not only in the Second World War but also in the broader narrative of military history. The convergence of science and warfare during this period laid the foundation for a new era of conflict, one where technology would play an increasingly central role in shaping the outcomes of battles and determining the fate of nations. The lessons learned from this chapter in history continue to resonate today, reminding us of the delicate interplay between innovation, ethics, and the relentless pursuit of victory on the battlefield. As the decades unfolded, the historical significance of the proximity fuse continued to be a focal point for military historians, strategists, and policymakers. The implications of its use during the Battle of the Bulge and the subsequent impact on the nature of warfare prompted extensive analysis and debate. Scholars examined how the fusion of technology and military strategy transformed not only the battlefield, but also the geopolitical landscape of the post-war world. The Cold War era, characterized by nuclear proliferation and the development of advanced weaponry, further emphasized the importance of technological superiority. The proximity fuse, as a precursor to more sophisticated munitions, served as a case study in the ongoing arms race. Nations recognized that innovations in military technology could provide significant strategic advantages, prompting a relentless quest for new inventions and improvements in existing systems. In the United States, military research and development became increasingly centralized, with significant investments directed toward the advancement of guided missiles and precision munitions. The principles established during the development of the proximity fuse informed the design of subsequent technologies, including air-to-ground missiles, smart bombs, and advanced artillery systems. The focus shifted toward creating weapons capable of hitting targets with unprecedented accuracy while minimizing collateral damage, a goal that echoed the initial intent behind the proximity fuse. The ethical considerations surrounding these advancements became a critical point of discussion. The ability to strike with precision raised questions about the morality of warfare and the implications of technology in conflict. As the world witnessed the devastation wrought by conventional warfare, the advent of more accurate and lethal weapons prompted calls for greater accountability and oversight in military operations. The fear of civilian casualties and the potential for widespread destruction led to increased scrutiny of military strategies and a push for more humane approaches to conflict resolution. In international relations, the legacy of the proximity fuse highlighted the necessity of dialogue and diplomacy in preventing war. The catastrophic consequences of World War II and the insights gained from the use of advanced military technologies underscored the need for cooperation among nations. The establishment of organizations like the United Nations aimed to foster communication and understanding to avert future conflict. The hope was that by prioritizing diplomatic solutions over military ones, the world could avoid repeating the horrors of the past. As the 21st century approached, the lessons learned from the Battle of the Bulge and the introduction of the proximity fuse continued to resonate. The technological advancements achieved during that time paved the way for the modern battlefield, where information technology, drones, and cyber warfare became integral components of military strategy. The principles of precision, speed, and adaptability remained key tenets of contemporary warfare, reflecting the enduring influence of innovations like the proximity fuse. Moreover, the rise of non-state actors and asymmetric warfare challenged traditional notions of conflict. The United States and its allies faced new threats from insurgent groups and terrorist organizations that operated outside conventional frameworks. In response, military strategies evolved to incorporate advanced technologies into counterinsurgency operations, emphasizing adaptability and rapid response capabilities. The lessons of the past informed these strategies, as military leaders sought to leverage technology to address the complexities of modern conflict. As discussions of military ethics and responsibility continued, the legacy of the proximity fuse served as a reminder of the need to balance technological advancement with moral considerations. The potential for destruction inherent in advanced weaponry necessitated a commitment to ethical warfare, with an emphasis on minimizing harm to civilians and prioritizing the protection of human rights. In educational institutions, the study of the proximity fuse and its impact on warfare became a topic of interest in military academies and universities. Courses on military history, technology, and ethics explored the implications of innovations in warfare and the responsibilities of those who wield such power. Future military leaders were encouraged to reflect on the lessons learned from the past, fostering a culture of critical thinking and ethical decision-making. The story of the proximity fuse also found its way into popular culture, inspiring films, books, and documentaries that depicted the challenges and triumphs of soldiers during World War II. The human experiences intertwined with technological advancements resonated with audiences, reminding them of the sacrifices made by those who served and the profound impact of innovation on their lives. As we reflect on the legacy of the proximity fuse, it is essential to recognize its significance not only as a military innovation, but also as a catalyst for change in the broader context of warfare and international relations. The convergence of technology and conflict transformed the nature of battle, shaping the strategies and ethics that govern modern warfare. In essence, the proximity fuse represented a turning point in the ongoing evolution of military technology. It underscored the importance of innovation in shaping the outcomes of conflicts and the necessity of addressing the ethical implications that arise from such advancements. The lessons learned from its deployment continue to inform contemporary military thought, reminding us that the interplay between science and warfare is as relevant today as it was during the tumultuous days of World War II. As we move forward, the experiences of the past serve as a powerful reminder of the responsibility that comes with technological progress. The proximity fuse may have been a revolutionary development in artillery, but it also symbolizes the broader challenges that nations face in navigating the complexities of warfare in an increasingly interconnected world. The quest for technological superiority must be tempered by a commitment to ethical practices and a dedication to preventing the horrors of conflict from recurring. The story of the proximity fuse, rooted in the experiences of the Battle of the Bulge, remains a vital chapter in the ongoing narrative of warfare. It encapsulates the lessons of history, the evolution of military thought, and the enduring need for a responsible and ethical approach to conflict resolution. As we continue to grapple with the implications of technological advancements in warfare, the legacy of the proximity fuse will serve as a guiding light, reminding us of the delicate balance between innovation and humanity in the pursuit of peace. As we delve deeper into the implications of the proximity fuse and its long-lasting effects on warfare, we must also acknowledge the technological advancements that have emerged in the decades since World War II. The evolution of military technology has taken leaps forward, often inspired by the initial innovations of that era, including the proximity fuse. These advancements have not only changed the way wars are fought, but also how nations prepare for and respond to conflicts. In the late 20th century, the rise of information technology and digital warfare transformed military operations. The integration of computer systems into military strategy allowed for real-time data analysis, enhanced communication, and improved decision-making processes on the battlefield. This shift represented a further extension of the principles that had initially guided the development of the proximity fuse. The idea that leveraging technology could yield significant advantages in combat. The introduction of precision-guided munitions, PGMs, during the Gulf War in 1991 showcased the culmination of decades of technological advancement, building on the lessons learned from the proximity fuse. These smart weapons utilized GPS and laser guidance systems to strike targets with remarkable accuracy, minimizing collateral damage and civilian casualties. The effectiveness of PGMs in the Gulf War reinforced the notion that technological superiority could decisively influence the course of a conflict. However, the rapid evolution of military technology also brought forth new ethical dilemmas and challenges. As warfare became increasingly reliant on advanced systems and automation, questions arose about the morality of using machines to make life-and-death decisions. The potential for unintended consequences, such as civilian casualties resulting from miscalculations or flaws in technology, highlighted the need for rigorous oversight and accountability in military operations. The emergence of autonomous weapons systems further complicated the ethical landscape of modern warfare. Drones and robotic systems capable of conducting operations without direct human oversight raised concerns about the implications of delegating critical decisions to machines. The lessons learned from the proximity fuse served as a reminder of the responsibility that accompanies technological progress. Military leaders and policymakers recognized the importance of establishing ethical frameworks to govern the deployment of such systems. In response to these challenges, discussions surrounding the regulation of autonomous weapons systems gained traction in international forums. The potential for an arms race in autonomous technology prompted calls for treaties and agreements aimed at ensuring responsible use and preventing the proliferation of unregulated systems. The legacy of the proximity fuse underscored the necessity of addressing the ethical implications of technological advancements in warfare, emphasizing the need for a balanced approach that prioritizes both innovation and accountability. As we reflect on the historical significance of the proximity fuse, it becomes evident that its impact extends beyond military applications. The technologies developed during World War II laid the groundwork for advancements in civilian industries as well. The manufacturing techniques and precision engineering principles established during the production of proximity fuses found applications in various sectors, from consumer electronics to aerospace. The ripple effects of wartime innovation also contributed to the post-war economic boom in the United States. The demand for skilled workers in manufacturing and engineering surged as industries adapted to peacetime needs. The skills honed during the war years translated into advancements in technology and productivity, driving economic growth and shaping the modern workforce. Moreover, the societal changes brought about by World War II influenced the roles of women and minorities in the workforce. As factories mobilized to produce war materials, women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers. Taking on roles traditionally held by men, the legacy of these changes persisted long after the war ended, contributing to the ongoing struggle for gender equality and social justice in the years that followed. In the realm of science and technology, the contributions of women and minority scientists and engineers during the war became increasingly recognized. Their efforts in various fields, including physics, mathematics, and engineering, played a crucial role in developing the technologies that changed the course of warfare. This acknowledgement of diverse contributions fostered a more inclusive approach to STEM fields, encouraging future generations to pursue careers in science and technology. And the legacy of the proximity fuse and the innovations born from wartime necessity also prompted a renewed focus on education and research. Governments and institutions recognized the need to invest in scientific research and development to maintain technological leadership. This emphasis on innovation and education laid the foundation for the technological advancements that would characterize the latter half of the 20th century and beyond. As we look to the future, the lessons learned from the deployment of the proximity fuse remain relevant in a world increasingly shaped by technology. The ongoing challenges of cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, and the proliferation of advanced weaponry necessitate a commitment to responsible development and ethical considerations. The story of the proximity fuse serves as a poignant reminder that while technology can provide significant advantages in warfare, it also carries the weight of ethical responsibility. In conclusion, the proximity fuse stands as a symbol of the profound intersection between technology and warfare. Its introduction during the Battle of the Bulge marked a pivotal moment in military history, reshaping the nature of conflict and influencing subsequent innovations. The legacy of the proximity fuse extends far beyond its immediate impact on the battlefield. It encompasses the broader implications of technological advancement, ethical considerations, and the ongoing evolution of warfare. As we navigate the complexities of modern conflict, the insights gained from the past will continue to inform our approach to military strategy, technological development, and the ethical considerations that arise in the pursuit of security and peace. The story of the proximity fuse is not just a tale of innovation. It is a powerful reminder of the responsibility that accompanies progress and the need for thoughtful engagement in the face of an ever-changing landscape of warfare. As we move forward in an era defined by rapid technological advancements, the legacy of the proximity fuse invites us to consider how best to integrate innovation into military and civilian applications while maintaining ethical standards. The challenges of the modern battlefield are not solely technical. They also require a deep understanding of the human element in warfare. The lessons learned from the proximity fuse are relevant today as we confront the dilemmas posed by emerging technologies. In recent years, the proliferation of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning has transformed military strategies and tactics. Autonomous systems and drones have redefined surveillance, reconnaissance, and combat operations. echoing the revolutionary impact of the proximity fuse in the artillery of World War II. However, these advancements bring forth new ethical questions about accountability, decision-making, and the potential for unintended consequences in warfare. The use of AI in military operations amplifies the debate surrounding the moral implications of technology in conflict. The ability to make decisions based on algorithms raises concerns about the absence of human judgment in critical situations. Military planners and ethicists alike grapple with the question of whether machines should have the authority to engage targets and make life or death decisions. As seen with the proximity fuse, the integration of technology into warfare requires careful consideration of its potential consequences on both soldiers and civilians. To address these challenges, there has been a growing emphasis on developing ethical frameworks for the use of AI in military contexts. International discussions have begun to take shape, focusing on establishing guidelines for the responsible development and deployment of autonomous weapon systems. The goal is to ensure that advancements in military technology do not outpace our ability to govern their use ethically and effectively. Furthermore, the lessons from the proximity fuse underscore the importance of transparency and oversight in military operations. As technology continues to evolve, the need for accountability becomes even more critical. Ensuring that military actions are subject to scrutiny and that decision-making processes are transparent can help mitigate the risks associated with advanced weaponry and artificial intelligence. Policymakers must prioritize creating legal and ethical frameworks that hold military leaders accountable for the deployment of new technologies. In addition to ethical considerations, the proximity fuse's legacy highlights the importance of resilience and adaptability in military strategy. The ability to respond to changing battlefield dynamics and technological advancements has always been essential for military success, but the rapid pace of innovation today requires military forces to be agile, able to adapt to new technologies and tactics as they emerge. This adaptability extends beyond the battlefield. Governments and military organizations must invest in research and development to stay ahead of potential adversaries. The competition for technological superiority is a defining feature of contemporary geopolitics, and nations that prioritize innovation are better positioned to navigate the complexities of modern conflict. This commitment to research not only enhances military capabilities, but also fosters collaboration between the public and private sectors, driving advancements that can benefit society as a whole. The story of the proximity fuse also serves as a reminder of the importance of education and training in preparing military personnel for the challenges of modern warfare. As technology becomes increasingly integrated into military operations, there is a pressing need for service members to develop a robust understanding of the tools at their disposal. Training programs that emphasize both technical proficiency and ethical decision-making will empower military leaders to navigate the complexities of warfare with integrity and responsibility. Moreover, the educational initiatives inspired by the proximity fuse's legacy must extend beyond military institutions. Engaging the public in discussions about the implications of military technology can foster a more informed citizenry, capable of understanding the challenges and responsibilities associated with technological advancements. By encouraging dialogue about the ethical dimensions of warfare, societies can collectively contribute to shaping the future of military practices and policies. As we reflect on the trajectory of warfare and the role of technology, we must recognize that the lessons of the proximity fuse are not confined to the annals of history. They resonate with contemporary issues and challenges, urging us to consider the responsibilities we bear as we harness innovation for military purposes. The delicate balance between leveraging technology for security and ensuring ethical oversight remains a pressing concern for military leaders and policymakers. Looking ahead, the legacy of the proximity fuse serves as both a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration. It reminds us that while technological advancements can provide significant advantages, they also come with inherent risks and ethical dilemmas. The pursuit of progress must be accompanied by a commitment to responsibility, transparency, and accountability. In conclusion, the story of the proximity fuse is a testament to the transformative power of technology in warfare. Its impact during the Battle of the Bulge reshaped military strategy and set the stage for future innovations. The ongoing evolution of military technology, from precision-guided munitions to autonomous systems, reflects the enduring relevance of the lessons learned from the proximity fuse. As we navigate the complexities of modern conflict, it is imperative that we honor the legacy of the past by prioritizing ethical considerations, fostering adaptability, and promoting informed dialogue. The responsibility that comes with technological advancement is immense, and it is our duty to ensure that the innovations of today contribute to a safer and more just world tomorrow. The journey of the proximity fuse reminds us that the true measure of progress lies not only in our ability to innovate, but also in our commitment to uphold the values of humanity in the face of an ever-evolving landscape of warfare. As we further explore the implications of the proximity fuse and its influence on the trajectory of warfare, we must also consider the broader societal context in which these technological advancements occur. The relationship between warfare, technology, and society is complex, and understanding this interplay is crucial for navigating future challenges. In the wake of the technological revolution sparked by innovations like the proximity fuse, societies have become increasingly intertwined with military developments. The rise of defense industries and the growing influence of military technology on civilian life underscore the dual-use nature of many innovations. Technologies initially developed for military purposes often find applications in civilian sectors, leading to advancements in fields such as medicine, transportation, and communications. For instance, the miniaturization and precision engineering techniques honed during the production of proximity fuses paved the way for developments in consumer electronics. The advancements in radar technology, originally designed for military applications, have since been repurposed for use in air traffic control, weather forecasting, and even modern smart home devices. This cross-pollination of technology between military and civilian domains illustrates how innovations can have far-reaching effects, reshaping everyday life. However, this dual-use nature also raises important ethical considerations. As military technologies permeate civilian life, the potential for misuse or unintended consequences increases. The same algorithms and systems that enhance military capabilities can also be exploited in harmful ways, such as in surveillance technologies that infringe on privacy rights. Policymakers must grapple with the challenge of regulating these technologies to ensure they serve the public good while mitigating risks. Moreover, the integration of advanced technologies in warfare necessitates a re-evaluation of the societal impact of military spending and research. The prioritization of defense budgets can divert resources away from critical areas such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. As nations invest heavily in military innovation, the question arises: how can we balance the need for security with the imperative to address pressing societal challenges? This balance becomes even more critical in an era marked by global interconnectedness. The potential for conflicts to escalate rapidly and the increasing frequency of hybrid warfare necessitate a comprehensive approach to security. Diplomacy, international cooperation, and conflict prevention must be prioritized alongside military readiness. The lessons of the proximity fuse remind us that while technological advancements can enhance military effectiveness, they should not overshadow the importance of dialogue and collaboration in addressing the root causes of conflict. The legacy of the proximity fuse also underscores the need for inclusive discussions about the future of warfare. Engaging diverse voices, including those of ethicists, technologists, and community leaders, can foster a more holistic understanding of the implications of military technologies. By incorporating a wide range of perspectives, societies can better navigate the complexities of innovation, while ensuring that ethical considerations are at the forefront of decision-making. As we look to the future, the story of the proximity fuse serves as a case study in the importance of adaptability and foresight. The rapid pace of technological advancement requires military and civilian leaders alike to be vigilant and proactive in addressing the challenges that arise. This adaptability extends beyond mere technological capabilities. It encompasses the ability to anticipate the societal and ethical implications of innovations. The experiences of World War II and the development of the proximity fuse provide valuable lessons in resilience. The ability to learn from past mistakes and successes is crucial for shaping future military policies and practices. A commitment to continuous improvement driven by a willingness to adapt to new realities will be essential in an increasingly complex security environment. Moreover, as we consider the future of warfare, it is vital to recognize the importance of a well-informed citizenry. Public awareness and understanding of military technologies can contribute to a more engaged and responsible society. By fostering a culture of transparency and dialogue, communities can play an active role in shaping the policies that govern the use of technology in warfare. In conclusion, the legacy of the proximity fuse extends far beyond its immediate effects on the battlefield. It encapsulates the profound relationship between technology, warfare, and society, highlighting the need for ethical considerations and responsible governance in the face of rapid innovation. As we navigate the complexities of modern conflict, we must prioritize collaboration, inclusivity, and adaptability, drawing from the lessons of the past to inform our approach to the future. The story of the proximity fuse is not merely a historical account. It is a call to action for all of us. It reminds us that the trajectory of warfare is shaped not only by advancements in technology, but also by our collective choices and values. In an era defined by unprecedented change, we must choose a path that balances security with ethical responsibility, ensuring that the innovations of today contribute to a more peaceful and just world tomorrow. The challenge lies before us, to harness the power of technology while upholding our shared humanity in the pursuit of a brighter future. As we delve deeper into the implications of technological advancements in warfare, we must also confront the evolving landscape of global security. The proximity fuse, as a pivotal innovation, exemplifies the broader shifts in military paradigms, prompting us to consider how nations navigate the complexities of modern threats. In an increasingly multipolar world, the dynamics of power are shifting. Emerging powers are investing heavily in military technology, seeking to establish their influence on the global stage. This competition for technological superiority mirrors the arms races of the past, but it is now characterized by advancements in cyber capabilities, artificial intelligence, and space technologies. The lessons learned from the proximity fuse remind us that innovation can serve as both a tool for deterrence and a catalyst for conflict. The rise of hybrid warfare, which combines conventional and unconventional tactics, further complicates the security landscape. State and non-state actors employ a mix of military force, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and economic pressure to achieve their objectives. This multifaceted approach to warfare challenges traditional military strategies, emphasizing the need for adaptability and a comprehensive understanding of the evolving threat environment. In this context, the importance of intelligence and information gathering cannot be overstated. The ability to analyze data in real time and make informed decisions has become a critical advantage. The proximity fuse, with its reliance on advanced radar technology, serves as a historical reminder of how data-driven innovations can shape military outcomes. Today, intelligence agencies and military organizations leverage big data analytics and machine learning to enhance situational awareness and anticipate adversary actions. Moreover, the ethical considerations surrounding the use of advanced technologies in warfare are amplified in this new landscape. As nations develop autonomous weapon systems and AI-driven decision-making processes, the potential for misuse and unintended consequences grows. The proximity fuse's legacy serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that technological prowess must be accompanied by ethical oversight. International treaties and agreements focused on emerging technologies are increasingly necessary to establish norms and standards for their use. The discussions surrounding autonomous weapons, for instance, highlight the need for a global consensus on the ethical implications of deploying machines that can make lethal decisions without human intervention. The lessons learned from the deployment of the proximity fuse can inform these discussions, emphasizing the importance of accountability and the protection of civilian lives. Furthermore, the interconnectedness of the modern world means that the consequences of military actions can extend far beyond national borders. Cyber warfare in particular exemplifies this reality. A cyber attack on critical infrastructure can have cascading effects, impacting not only the targeted nation but also its allies and global markets. The proximity fuse reminds us that the impact of military technology is not confined to traditional battlefields. It can reverberate through societies and economies. As we contemplate the future of warfare, it is essential to foster a culture of innovation that prioritizes ethical considerations. Military organizations, policymakers, and industry leaders must work collaboratively to ensure that advancements in technology are developed and deployed responsibly. This collaboration should extend to academia and civil society, creating a holistic approach to understanding the implications of military innovations. Education plays a vital role in shaping future leaders who will navigate the complexities of modern conflict. Military academies and universities must emphasize not only technical proficiency but also ethical decision-making, critical thinking, and strategic foresight. By cultivating a diverse and informed leadership, we can better prepare for the challenges of tomorrow's security environment. Moreover, public engagement and discourse are crucial for fostering a well-informed citizenry as military technologies increasingly influence civilian life. It is essential for communities to understand the implications of these advancements. Public discussions can help bridge the gap between military operations and civilian perspectives, ensuring that societal values are reflected in military policies. In conclusion, the legacy of the proximity fuse serves as a powerful reminder of the intricate relationship between technology, warfare, and society. Its impact during the Battle of the Bulge reshaped military strategies and laid the groundwork for future innovations. As we confront the challenges of an evolving security landscape, the lessons learned from the past remain relevant. We must navigate the complexities of modern conflict with a commitment to ethical responsibility, adaptability, and inclusivity. The pursuit of technological advancement must be balanced with a dedication to accountability and the protection of human rights. The story of the proximity fuse is not merely a historical account. It is a call to action for all of us military leaders, policymakers, technologists, and citizens alike, to engage thoughtfully with the implications of innovation in warfare. As we look to the future, let us embrace the opportunities presented by technological advancements while remaining vigilant about their potential consequences. The path forward is one that requires a collective commitment to harnessing the power of technology for the greater good, ensuring that the innovations of today contribute to a more peaceful and just world tomorrow. The legacy of the proximity fuse reminds us that the true measure of progress lies not only in our ability to innovate, but also in our capacity to uphold our shared humanity amid the complexities of an ever-evolving landscape of warfare. As we venture further into the implications of military technology and its intersection with society, it becomes increasingly clear that the journey of the proximity fuse is emblematic of larger trends affecting not just warfare, but also the fabric of modern civilization. The transformation of warfare through technology invites us to reflect on the broader societal changes that accompany such advancements, shaping our values, ethics, and relationships in an interconnected world. One of the most pressing issues we face today is the challenge of balancing national security with civil liberties as governments invest heavily in surveillance technologies and data-driven analytics for military and intelligence purposes. Concerns about privacy and individual rights have intensified. The legacy of the proximity fuse serves as a reminder that while technological advancements can enhance security capabilities, they can also infringe upon the freedoms that define democratic societies. In this context, public discourse around the ethical use of technology becomes paramount. Citizens must engage in conversations about the implications of surveillance, data collection, and the potential for invasive practices that may arise from the militarization of technology. Empowering individuals to advocate for their rights and hold governments accountable is essential for maintaining a balance between security measures and civil liberties. Moreover, the global nature of technology means that challenges related to military advancements transcend national borders. The potential for cyber warfare, for instance, poses risks that affect not only the targeted nation but also its allies and the broader international community. As we witnessed in recent years, cyber attacks can disrupt critical infrastructure, financial systems, and even democratic processes. The interconnectedness of our world necessitates international cooperation and dialogue to establish norms and agreements that govern the use of technology in warfare. The principles of transparency and accountability must guide these discussions. Just as the proximity fuse's development necessitated oversight to ensure its responsible use, contemporary technologies demand similar scrutiny. International frameworks that promote collaboration among nations can foster a culture of accountability, ensuring that advancements in military technology are harnessed for defensive purposes rather than aggressive ends. In addition to addressing ethical considerations, the legacy of the proximity fuse encourages us to consider the role of education and awareness in shaping public perceptions of military technology. Educational initiatives that focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM) can equip future generations with the skills necessary to engage critically with technological advancements. By fostering a culture of inquiry and ethical reflection within STEM fields, we can empower individuals to contribute meaningfully to discussions about the implications of military innovations. Furthermore, interdisciplinary approaches that integrate insights from the humanities and social sciences can enrich our understanding of the societal impact of technology. By examining the historical, cultural, and ethical dimensions of military advancements, we can develop a more nuanced perspective on the challenges and opportunities they present. The lessons drawn from the proximity fuse's legacy can inform these interdisciplinary discussions, encouraging collaboration between technologists, ethicists, historians, and policymakers. As we look to the future, we must also recognize the potential for technology to facilitate conflict resolution and peace building. Advances in communication technologies and data analytics can be harnessed to promote dialogue, understanding, and cooperation among diverse groups. The very innovations that have reshaped warfare can also serve as tools for fostering connections and addressing the underlying causes of conflict. For instance, leveraging technology to facilitate diplomatic dialogues and conflict resolution efforts can contribute to more peaceful outcomes. Platforms that enable real-time communication and collaboration can help bridge divides and promote mutual understanding among conflicting parties. By embracing the potential of technology for constructive purposes, we can work towards a future where innovation serves as a catalyst for peace rather than a mechanism for destruction. In conclusion, the legacy of the proximity fuse offers profound insights into the complex interplay between technology, warfare, and society. As we navigate the challenges of the modern world, we must remain vigilant in our commitment to ethical responsibility, accountability, and public engagement. The lessons learned from the past remind us that technological advancements come with both opportunities and risks. As we harness the power of innovation, we must prioritize the values that underpin our shared humanity. By fostering a culture of transparency, inclusivity, and cooperation, we can shape the future of military technology in ways that reflect our collective aspirations for peace and justice. The journey of the proximity fuse is not just a chapter in military history. It is a call to action for all of us to engage thoughtfully with the implications of technology in warfare and to strive for a world where such advancements contribute to the betterment of society as a whole. Ultimately, the legacy of the proximity fuse serves as both a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration. It challenges us to reflect on the ethical dimensions of military technology, while encouraging us to embrace innovation as a means of fostering dialogue and understanding. As we move forward, let us commit to a future where technological progress is guided by our shared values, ensuring that the innovations of today pave the way for a more peaceful and just world tomorrow. The power of technology is immense, and it is our responsibility to wield it wisely, informed by the lessons of history and the aspirations of humanity. As we continue to reflect on the implications of military technology, it's essential to consider how the legacy of the proximity fuse has shaped the discourse around future innovations in warfare and security. The narrative of the proximity fuse serves as a microcosm for understanding the broader ethical, technological, and societal challenges that will define our approach to conflict in the years to come. One of the most significant contemporary challenges is the increasing reliance on artificial intelligence, AI, in military operations. The lessons of the proximity fuse remind us that decisions made in the heat of battle, especially those involving autonomous systems, must be approached with caution. The integration of AI into combat scenarios raises profound ethical questions about accountability and decision-making. Who is responsible when an autonomous weapon makes a mistake? How do we ensure that AI systems adhere to the laws of armed conflict? To navigate these challenges, robust frameworks for AI governance must be established. These frameworks should include guidelines for the ethical development and deployment of AI technologies in military contexts. By fostering international collaboration and dialogue, nations can work together to create standards that prioritize human oversight in decision-making processes, ensuring that ethical considerations remain at the forefront of military innovation. Moreover, the potential for AI to enhance military capabilities must be weighed against the risk of exacerbating conflicts. Autonomous systems can operate at speeds and scales that far exceed human capabilities. leading to decisions being made without adequate human judgment or ethical consideration. The proximity fuse's historical context reminds us of the need to maintain human agency in warfare, ensuring that technology serves as a tool for enhancing human decision-making rather than replacing it altogether. In addition to AI, the increasing prominence of cyber warfare presents another layer of complexity to the evolving security landscape. As nations invest in cyber capabilities, the potential for conflict in the digital realm grows. Cyber attacks can disrupt critical infrastructure, compromise national security, and sow discord among populations. The principles established during the development of the proximity fuse, such as the importance of precision and targeting, can inform our understanding of how to approach cyber warfare ethically. Establishing norms and protocols for cyber warfare is imperative. Just as the proximity fuse revolutionized artillery by enhancing its effectiveness, the realm of cyber operations requires a similar focus on precision and responsibility. International agreements that outline acceptable behaviors in cyberspace can help mitigate the risks associated with cyber conflicts, fostering a sense of accountability among nations and reducing the likelihood of escalation. Furthermore, the effects of military technology extend beyond the battlefield, influencing civilian life and global security dynamics. As military innovations transition into civilian applications, the impact on society becomes increasingly significant. Technologies that originated in military contexts, such as GPS, drones, and advanced communication systems, have transformed industries and changed the way we live our daily lives. However, this dual-use nature of technology necessitates careful consideration of its implications. As we embrace the benefits of technological advancements, we must also remain vigilant about the potential risks. The lessons learned from the proximity fuse can guide our approach to ensuring that civilian applications prioritize safety and ethical standards, preventing the misuse of technologies that could pose risks to public safety or privacy. The legacy of the proximity fuse also emphasizes the importance of fostering a culture of innovation that prioritizes inclusivity and diversity. The development of military technologies is often driven by a narrow set of perspectives, which can limit the scope of innovation. By encouraging a more diverse workforce in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields, we can cultivate a range of ideas and approaches that enhance our understanding of the ethical implications of military technologies. Promoting diversity in military research and development can lead to more comprehensive solutions to complex security challenges. It is crucial to ensure that voices from various backgrounds are included in discussions about military technology, as these perspectives can illuminate potential blind spots and contribute to more robust ethical frameworks. As we envision the future of warfare and the role of technology within it, we must also consider the role of education in shaping informed citizens and leaders. Engaging young people in discussions about the ethical dimensions of military technology, its societal implications, and the importance of accountability can cultivate a generation that values ethical considerations in decision-making processes. Educational institutions play a critical role in this endeavor. By integrating ethics, history, and technology into curricula, schools can inspire students to think critically about the impact of military innovations. Programs that emphasize interdisciplinary learning can equip future leaders with the skills necessary to navigate the complexities of modern conflict while upholding ethical standards. In conclusion, the legacy of the proximity fuse serves as a powerful reminder of the intricate relationship between technology, warfare, and society. As we confront the challenges of an evolving security landscape, we must prioritize ethical responsibility, accountability, and inclusivity in our approach to military innovations. The lessons learned from the past compel us to engage in thoughtful discussions about the implications of technological advancements, ensuring that we harness their power for the greater good. By fostering collaboration among nations, promoting transparency in decision-making, and cultivating a diverse and informed citizenry, we can navigate the complexities of modern conflict with integrity and purpose. As we look to the future, let us embrace the opportunities presented by technological advancements, while remaining vigilant about their potential consequences. The story of the proximity fuse is not merely a historical account. It is a call to action for all of us to engage thoughtfully with the implications of technology in warfare and to strive for a world where such advancements contribute to the betterment of society. The power of technology is immense, and it is our responsibility to wield it wisely. With a commitment to ethical considerations and a dedication to serving humanity, we can ensure that the innovations of today pave the way for a more peaceful and just world tomorrow. The journey of the proximity fuse reminds us that the true measure of progress lies not only in our ability to innovate, but also in our capacity to uphold our shared humanity amid the complexities of an ever-evolving landscape of warfare. As we continue to explore the profound implications of military technology and its integration into society, it is essential to highlight the role of international cooperation in shaping the future landscape of conflict. The legacy of the proximity fuse underscores the importance of collaborative efforts among nations to address the ethical, legal, and practical challenges posed by advanced military technologies. In an era where threats can emerge from various fronts, be it cyber warfare, autonomous weapon systems, or hybrid tactics, the need for a coordinated global response becomes increasingly critical. Diplomatic initiatives that bring together nations to discuss shared concerns about military innovations can foster a culture of trust and transparency. Such dialogues are vital for establishing norms and agreements that govern the deployment of emerging technologies, ensuring they are used responsibly and ethically. International treaties and agreements can play a crucial role in setting standards for the use of advanced military technologies. For instance, ongoing discussions surrounding the regulation of autonomous weapons systems highlight the necessity of establishing parameters that prioritize human oversight and accountability. By engaging in multilateral negotiations, nations can work toward creating frameworks that mitigate the risks associated with these technologies, ultimately promoting stability and security on a global scale. Furthermore, the lessons learned from the development and deployment of the proximity fuse can inform discussions around arms control and disarmament. As nations grapple with the consequences of technological advancements, the historical context of military innovations provides valuable insights into the potential for escalation and conflict. The experiences of the past remind us that the unchecked proliferation of advanced weaponry can lead to devastating consequences, emphasizing the importance of proactive measures to prevent arms races and promote disarmament. In addition to formal diplomatic efforts, grassroots movements and civil society organizations can play a pivotal role in shaping the discourse around military technology. Advocacy groups focused on issues such as arms control, ethical warfare, and civilian protection can amplify public awareness and influence policy decisions. By engaging citizens in discussions about the implications of military innovations, these organizations can help foster a more informed and active public that demands accountability and ethical considerations in military practices. The convergence of technology and warfare also raises questions about the role of the private sector in shaping the future of military capabilities. Defense contractors and technology companies are increasingly involved in developing advanced military systems, which necessitates a focus on ethical practices within the industry. The proximity fuse's legacy serves as a reminder that the development of military technologies should not only prioritize effectiveness, but also consider the broader societal impact. To promote ethical practices within the defense industry, companies must adopt transparency and accountability measures. This includes conducting thorough assessments of the potential consequences of their technologies, engaging with stakeholders, and adhering to international standards of conduct. By fostering a culture of ethical responsibility within the private sector, we can ensure that advancements in military technology align with societal values and contribute to global security. Moreover, the integration of ethics into research and development processes is essential for shaping the future of military technology. Educational institutions, research organizations, and military academies have a crucial role to play in instilling a sense of ethical responsibility in future engineers, scientists, and military leaders. By incorporating ethics into STEM curricula, we can cultivate a generation of innovators who prioritize human rights and the principles of just warfare in their work. As we consider the future of warfare, it is also essential to address the psychological and social impacts of military technology on soldiers and civilians alike. The rapid evolution of military capabilities can create an environment of uncertainty and fear, particularly for those living in conflict zones. The legacy of the proximity fuse underscores the need for comprehensive support systems that address the psychological well-being of military personnel and civilians affected by conflict. Trauma-informed care, mental health support, and resources for reintegration into society are critical components of a holistic approach to military service and conflict resolution. By prioritizing the mental health of soldiers and civilians, we can foster resilience and promote healing in communities affected by war. In conclusion, the legacy of the proximity fuse serves as a multifaceted lens through which we can examine the complex interplay between technology, warfare, and society. As we navigate the challenges of the modern world, we must remain committed to ethical responsibility, international cooperation, and inclusivity in our approach to military innovations. The lessons learned from the past compel us to engage in thoughtful discussions about the implications of technological advancements, ensuring that we harness their power for the greater good. By fostering collaboration among nations, promoting transparency in decision-making, and cultivating a diverse and informed citizenry, we can navigate the complexities of modern conflict with integrity and purpose. As we look to the future, let us embrace the opportunities presented by technological advancements while remaining vigilant about their potential consequences. The story of the proximity fuse is not merely a historical account. It is a call to action for all of us to engage thoughtfully with the implications of technology in warfare, and to strive for a world where such advancements contribute to the betterment of society. Ultimately, the power of technology is immense, and it is our responsibility to wield it wisely. With a commitment to ethical considerations and a dedication to serving humanity, we can ensure that the innovations of today pave the way for a more peaceful and just world tomorrow. The journey of the proximity fuse reminds us that the true measure of progress lies not only in our ability to innovate, but also in our capacity to uphold our shared humanity amid the complexities of an ever-evolving landscape of warfare. As we continue on this path, let us draw inspiration from the lessons of the past, engage in meaningful dialogue, and work collectively to forge a future where technology serves as a force for good, promoting peace, security, and the well-being of all. Through collaboration, ethical reflection, and a commitment to shared values, We can shape the next chapter in the story of warfare, one that honors the lessons learned and aspires to a future defined by hope, cooperation, and lasting peace.